let's talk about the other trade that came down today. More D-line help for the Chicago Bears. A guy that Matt Eberflus knows well. Chris Williams, who Carm talked about earlier. Somewhat of a short press conference today, but Chris Williams was with Flus in Indy, which is where he started his career. And it was interesting because Flus was like, when he was talking about him today, he's like, yeah, been following him. He's definitely gotten better. And the word out of Cleveland was this guy was somebody who was, having a good offseason, good camp, showing improvement. I haven't broken down their roster completely, to know why, maybe it sounded like a guy that was on the bubble. And if you can get a pick, upgrade a 7th to a 6 to get this thing done, just to do something, if you're going to let him go anyway, again, those are the types of trades that get done this time of year, right before the season starts. So for the Bears, they get somebody in Chris Williams that Flus has coached before, that knows will fit this hits principle. He did say, they've changed the scheme a little bit over the years, so it's not like this is just going to be like walk in and know everything, but the familiarity will help. And honestly, Carm, I think this is more of an insurance policy. I don't think this has anything to do with Gervon Dexter or anything. I think this has to do with the fact that Zach Pickens is still not practicing. And what is Zach Pickens' availability for the week 1 at this point? We don't know the answer to that. But if he can't go, and even if he can go, it just exposes some of your lack of depth on the interior of the defensive line. And so this is a guy that, will play the way you want to play your defense. And it just gives you some depth. But this goes back to something I feel like I kept just repeating over and over and over again all offseason. They let Justin Jones walk to Arizona, and they never replaced him. There was never some signing that like, this is the guy to replace Justin Jones. It was just Gervon Dexter moves up. Great. But who replaces Gervon Dexter in that spot? They always needed another defensive tackle. And it just never seemed like throughout training camp that any of the other guys on the roster were going to be the dude to do it. And, maybe they thought there's a chance that was going to be Keith Randolph, the undrafted free agent out of Illinois, but they waived him today. So it just never happened. And instead it's a trade right before the season starts to add Chris Williams.
I mean, you're basically getting him for free, a 7th for a 6th. That's Chase Claypool territory. Please get out of here. And I obviously completely different circumstances. I don't think Chris Williams is ever going to be a problem in anyone's locker room. But look, Flus knows him. He's supposedly good off the ball. He loves football, fits the profile. I think it's interesting if you go back in time with him. Comes out of Brooklyn, plays at Wagner College, small college out east that most people haven't heard of. His defensive line coach there was Terrence Knighton, if you remember Pot Roast, the Denver Bronco back in the day. There's something to be said for that, along with the fact that he worked out with Robert Mathis when he was a Indianapolis Colt. I think he's just a good locker room fit. A need is there, and he is young. So, look, it is a slight indictment on the roster that they got to do something like this, but they gave up nothing. So, I think I have a hard time quibbling with bringing in Chris Williams right now.
Yeah, no, I think it's a move that makes sense. And I don't think the Bears are done. I think, I think they'll continue to make phone calls over the weekend, look at potential areas to upgrade the roster. Does that include, I don't know if any punt returners come available around the league. I think Carter is your guy right now as things stand. But things are always fluid here. That's the thing. Even after that roster set on Tuesday, there will be 1 or 2 more changes probably by the weekend. You want to have, I think, finalized. There's a deadline Tuesday. But you're always still working that thing until you actually get to game week.
We all silly like the mayor.